So what I want to do now is show you what it sounds like with everything flat. Both pickups engaged, all the controls in the middle, none of the kind of positions brought in for the tone cuts, anything like that, all fully open. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is show it to you with my preferred setting for the actual split on the pickups. Now, how I like to have it is going more towards the actual neck pickup itself by about, I'd say, 3/4 of a turn on the blend knob, so you get just a little bit of bite from the bridge pickup in there as well, and it sounds a bit like this. So now set it back to the pickups being equal amounts of volume. So they're both up full essentially. And I'm going to show you what it is in a few different positions while I actually start playing with the kind of tone controls itself. And for reference, on the amp, everything is flat. So I'm going to bring up the treble first of all, because this has an awful lot of treble headroom, like probably more treble than you ever need. I'm going to put it up full and I'll show you. And that is something that's actually probably going to give you a little bit of tinnitus if you're not careful. But all joking aside, that is actually part of the original design of the GK800 tone stack itself. And obviously this means, yet again, it's a faithful recreation, but it depends. There might be scenarios where you actually do need all of that treble. I can think a lot about the people that do like slapping and things like that and popping, and you're just trying to get above other members of the band and things like that. You know, you've got it there, but most of the time, I tend to run it about half or just a little bit under half, like this. And I find that, for me, is a pretty good sweet spot. What I'll now do is show it to you with the treble knob all the way down. Now let's bring some of the extra bass control in now. Let's pump up that bass a bit. And that's got that real groovy sound. And you can bring back in a little bit more of that treble there. Real nice. Obviously then you can start playing with things like the upper mids, you can kind of scoop them out. Or you can even add more in, so I'll just turn it up the full way now pretty much. And now what I'll do is pretty much turn up the upper mid section the whole way, leaving everything else how it was just a second ago. And you can really hear how you're going to start to get that extra finger definition in. Okay, so let's get some picking tones going now. I'm going to set everything back to the middle exactly how it would be. So you've got both pickups essentially in there, in the middle position here, and you've got the treble, mids, upper mids, lower mids, everything like that, all set around the same kind of thing, so it's not boosting, not cutting anything. Okay, so another cool picking sound that I've got here is I've boosted some bass there on it, and I have taken away a little bit of the treble. I have added a good amount of both the lower mids and the upper mids. So let's see what that sounds like. So what I want to do now is show you the difference between active and passive mode. Now I have the EQ on the bass completely flat, both pickups are fully engaged, and I haven't got any of the tone reduction switches engaged. So let's see what it looks like when it is in active mode, just to remind you. Let's turn it into passive mode. So I've engaged the active mode again, and what I'm going to show you now is the two different filters positions that it has for tone. So right now, it's completely open. Going to bring it to the middle position, and bring it to the fully closed position. So you can see quite a difference there. And if I put it back into passive mode, you will see and of course, it obviously still works in passive mode as well. And that switch does actually make a massive difference to things. I didn't think I would like it at first when Nuno first suggested it, but now I've actually had a chance to play with it, I've realised it really is quite handy. Compared to using your normal rotary tone knob that you'd have, it's very easy just to quickly flick into something and get it into a different couple of positions, so you can go from doing something where it requires a little bit more high energy and a little bit more kind of definition in those finger notes, to then going back very quickly to just being able to chill something out, but not affecting the rest of your normal tone. And I found myself using it way more than I thought I would when I've been playing live. So yeah, something I was quite sceptical about, I ended up quite liking. Okay, so now I'm actually adding in another little section after the fact of filming, because there's something else I wanted to talk to you about. So talking about the three-way tone position switch, I've realised it can actually do some more interesting things if you play with the rest of the EQ section. So obviously going back, we've got the cuts, this is it fully open, middle position, and the fully closed position basically. But what happens if we start playing around with the EQ section? So obviously here with it fully closed, you can hear that it kind of cutting out a lot of that tone. If I start driving up the treble controls and the mid controls and that bass, you'll hear that a lot of that actually comes back, but in an interesting kind of almost overdriven sounding way, and it kind of makes some cool tones. So if I set the pickup selector switch to be more towards the bridge, we'll get quite an interesting sound now. Treble whack pretty much right up there, and the upper mid's right up, and I have got the lower mid section on about 3/4, the bass kind of same about 3/4. Put it fully to the bridge now. Fully to the neck. Interesting, bring out some of that bass. Full on the lower mids. selector switch for the tone in the middle one. Let's set the pickups to the middle position where it's using both of them and add some of that bass back in. So you've kind of got another dynamic of the tone situation you can use there, where you can really kind of accentuate things and get an interesting sound from that perspective. As I said, with everything jacked up, you now get a kind of almost overdriven-y kind of sound, where you're probably pushing the preamps a little bit beyond its limits, but it actually sounds like a little bit of nice breakup.